Hello, and welcome to Life of a Boss, the podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, public speaker, and mentor, Jason Harden. This podcast is all about helping audiences create and reach their own definition of success through positive thinking, perseverance, and personal development. Having survived extreme obstacles from an early age, such as cancer, poverty, abuse, family dysfunction, and even homelessness, Jason has learned how to master the art of resilience and defy all odds to become the boss he is today. So, get ready for some serious game and remember to keep an open mind. Now, without further delay, here is your host, Jason Harden.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Life of a Boss, the podcast. I am your host, Jason Harden, and today is a very special episode, and I think they're all special in some way, but I think today is one of those days where we're gonna, discover why we call this the realest show on personal development. And to be honest, the topic of today is the ugly truth. Ooh, yeah, the ugly truth, and it's funny because I know that truth has been the highlighted word of the year. Starting with the Cat Williams interview, and just moving on from there of people getting exposed and things just coming to light, you know, and some things are in the dark in plain sight. And I guess that's why these truth episodes and these truth interviews and people coming out are so, interesting to us and impactful in certain ways, especially with the P. Diddy thing. That couldn't be more impactful to certain people's lives that affected. And to what extent, I do not know. I know Hollywood's a crazy place, and they play crazy games. Never got that deep into Hollywood, no. Stuck my toe in and did my thing and got a lot of wonderful relationships out of it. Met a lot of wonderful people, a lot of folks that I did look up to, and some I still do. But, yeah, it was never my thing. But that's neither here nor there. The topic today is the ugly truth. And where to start, where I want to go with this is that when it comes to being a boss, and I do believe I'm a boss, straight up. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I get the imposter syndrome sometimes, and I doubt myself sometimes, and I'm hard on myself sometimes. But all in all, I know where I come from. I know what I've been through. I know what I've seen, and I know what I've experienced, and a lot of that was hell in a way. You know, a lot of that was dysfunctional, toxic, whatever you want to call. A hard or difficult upbringing or childhood, and just life in general. You can call it generational curses were in my family, abuse, drugs, poverty, educational barriers, language barriers. There's a lot of obstacles that I was just automatically born into. And when you come from a background like that and look at everything that I see, like literally see in this room right now, I can't help but to think I'm successful. I can't throw a pity party for me. I can't say I still don't have this or still don't have that. I'm looking around, and I see things manifested from my creativity, from my involvement with the community, from my love for people, and for my wife, and I just see success. I see what I would only fantasize about when I was young. I lived the life literally that I fantasized about when I was young, and it's sad sometimes to think I didn't want much, or that this is my no window office. I got a window, but it looks into the office. It looks into another part of the office, so I got a block. So it's not like a no window office, but it is like a no window office. And I know some people say they made it from this, and this is what I say I made it too. So everybody's degree of success is different, and it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be. You are always supposed to create and live your definition of success. I mean, that is the underlying rule of Life of a Boss, the podcast, is to create and live your own definition of success, and to want that. And that's really what I think anybody would listen to this for. If you're not trying to get there, and there is your definition of there, whatever joy, whatever financial status, whatever relationship status, whatever career status, whatever you want, like, this is only to help you get there, and to develop the mindset, to develop the attitude, to develop the grit, the resilience, and whatever else you need to get there. And it's through, to wrap it all up, personal development. And I keep saying that now, and I'm going somewhere with all of this. We're going to get back to the topic of the ugly truth. But I'm going there to say that everything we discuss on here is for people to create and live their own definition of success. And it is absolutely 1,000% possible for any of you listening. Or for any of you that ain't listening. For the people out there that are totally oblivious to this podcast, don't know me, don't know nothing else. I mean, it is totally 1,000% possible for all of you to create and live your own definition of success. Most of you will try to create and live other people's definition of success, and that's why we have this podcast. But being an individual is very important, and it ties back into our topic of the ugly truth. And let me give it some context of where I want to go with this. At 3 years old, I was diagnosed with esthesioneuroblastoma. Now, esthesioneuroblastoma is a tumor in the nasal cavity. It's right behind my eye, it was just sitting on top of the upper plate of my mouth, and then as a baby, I was told my eye bulged out to like here, and I went through everything regarding cancer at a very young age. The doctor said I wouldn't live past 3 years old, and this is at 6 months old. So it was quite an interesting introduction to life, because I did live past 3. As you can see, I'm here. And but the thing was, like, all of that trauma and drama and pain and chemotherapy and Ronald McDonald House and hospitals, and it's like it all happened before my first memory. Everything that I know about my cancer in regards to what happened and the effects of it and all that other stuff happened. Well, most of it happened before I could even remember anything. And honestly, the only health-related issues I would have from the cancer anytime after that was maybe some headaches. And to be honest, that was pretty much it. It didn't limit me in any other way. So I thought. Like I said, we gonna circle back to what the fuck I'm here to say today. But yeah, so the bulk of the whole battle with cancer, all of that, the physical effects of it, the health-wise effects of it, I did not feel or have no memory of, really. Which is another reason why I'd never let cancer, or haven't had cancer, or ever limit me from doing anything. I never looked at that as, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, or I got to think about my cancer. And I never thought like that. I don't even think anybody should think that way. I hope people don't. If you are battling something, especially cancer or anything health related, I hope you don't. Yeah, I hope you still see the value in you, your time, your life here. Yeah, and I hope, like I said, you. Yeah, well, I digress. But anyway, yeah. So I didn't let it limit me. So regardless if you went through it or not, I don't know how lucky I was to not experience it, or remember the experience of chemotherapy and all that. The pain, the sickness. I was a baby. I don't know. I'm glad I lived through it. I can say that that I am glad I'm here. It's not something that I regret doing. Beating cancer is not something I regret doing. So, just all those thoughts. I like to get it out there, because where I'm going with this is real and relevant, and it's really why I think this show was so incredible in so many ways, because it's a unique perspective that can help so many who think their experiences are unique, and their combination of cards that they were dealt with are just incurable hands or unwinnable hands. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want anybody to think they have an unwinnable hand. And that's really where I'm about to go with this episode. So anyway, that being said, the health effects of cancer didn't really fuck with me. Like I said, I was not a sick child. I was not like one of those kids, with the bald head sitting in the wheelchair. And I've had friends like that, and it's so crazy because I've been to the cancer camps, and there were just amazing experiences where the hospital in San Mateo, San Francisco area, they would just have the children's hospital up there. They would have events, and they would have all the cancer patients and their siblings and everybody just involved in any event they did, like summer camps and Christmas parties. And I would see some of these kids, and some looked totally fine. Some had limbs missing. Some were in wheelchairs. Some had the bald head, the pale skin and the blanket all the time. I mean, it was everything, the whole spectrum. You had me, you know what I'm saying, looking like me, and my ethnicity and every ethnicity, from white, black, Asian. So cancer was very non-picky at who it fucked with. And so I met all these kids, and some of these kids were, I know they were all going through serious cases. Some didn't make it. My mom used to tell me stories about a mother she knew whose child was going through cancer at the same time, and he didn't make it, and she killed herself, and so I've grown up around and very close to a lot of these stories. But I wanted to say, like, some of these kids I went to camp would be on, like, the Today Show or Good Morning America, Good Morning Bay Area, and my doctor would be too, because like these were like I don't know how renowned my doctor was, but he was very renowned, and he did his job for, I don't know, like 60 years. I don't know how long he was a doctor. He was a doctor until he died. And Dr. Wilbur, Dr. Jordan Wilbur, man, I love you forever, and I appreciate you, and I hope your family sees this and knows how much of a difference you made in my life and the life of so many. Like, so many. But that being said, I went through all the effects of cancer before I could feel before, when I wasn't going through the health related parts of it, like I saw all these other kids going through, and like I said, they were on TV and doing interviews on news shows because of their condition. Like, they were the quote unquote cancer patients that you see on TV. So it was real for some of them. For me, it was not like that. Maybe as a baby, I could have been on there, but what kind of interview I could have gotten from me as a baby. But what I'm saying is, like, I never felt the physical strains of cancer. Never. But one thing cancer did that I felt forever to this very day. And even when I forget to feel it, something reminds me. And that was, it scarred me for life. Like, it made me look how I look. And this is the ugly truth. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it's, since it scarred me, that scar was the only thing I had to deal with. Looking like this is the only thing about cancer I ever had to deal with, except for the brain tumor I had a few years ago. Now that's totally different story. Don't even know that's some freak shit, if ever, in my life. But then again, my life just, a lot of freak things happen. You know, a lot of just out the blue, way out, just I can't explain it. Shit just happens. And looking like this is one of them. And I only wanted to do an episode about this and calling it the ugly truth is because it me being successful or even by my definition of success, it's been a tricky ride. You know, it's I don't know if this if you guys can imagine, but my life gets thrown twists and curveballs that I don't think just anybody goes through. I don't think just everybody just deals with the thing I go through. I think certain people do, and I hope you're watching. If you are disabled, disfigured, anything like that, or just different, you know, physically or with a handicap or something, I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. And not even just you. If you think something's wrong with you, because there is no difference from something being wrong with your ass and you thinking something's wrong with you. And I say that because I know a lot of people, women and men, who you wouldn't think ain't nothing wrong with them. And even if you knew them and their history and their childhood, you still wouldn't think there's nothing wrong with them. But they walk around with shit wrong with them or feeling like there's shit wrong with them. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Have you ever met a beautiful woman with no self-esteem or no confidence? I have. Have you met people who come from great homes and great upbringings, and they're just not happy, just not together, upset, mean, or angry? You know, I have. You know what I'm saying? So the crazy thing is that the ugly truth being is that you don't have to be ugly to feel ugly. You know what I'm saying? That's half of what I want to talk about. Because that just covers that whatever I'm talking about for folks that have disfigurements, have disabilities, have issues, for every one of those people that can get some value out of this, the people who think you're okay and got something wrong with your ass, or the people that look okay and got something wrong with you, you can hear this too. And that's usually all of us, because all of us have something we're dealing with. It's such a universal thing. And I want people to understand that, because I want people to understand that they're no different from each other. A beautiful woman is no different from an ugly woman. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, there's no difference in chemistry and all of that. What's different is how they feel inside. Because the ugly woman can feel great and she have no problems, and the beautiful woman can feel like shit, or she has, like, her eye is too big, or her breasts are too small, or whatever the fuck. She can have just an issue with some part of her body that makes her live a very unhappy life compared to the ugly woman. And I'm using these terms loosely because, to be honest, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But society has a collective definition of beautiful, a collective definition of fine, a collective definition of attractive. And that's the reason why we're doing this show, because there's a collective definition of success. And I don't want anybody listening, I don't want anybody, period, to fall for the collective definition of success. And I don't want anybody to fall for the collective definition of beautiful or fine or attractive. Because we get caught up in that. And I'm saying that because I'm living through the quote unquote unattractive perspective. But it's funny because I don't always feel that way. You know what? I don't always feel ugly. And I say I don't always because sometimes I feel ugly as fuck. Because I get self-conscious. I'm talking to people, and sometimes like I'm super aware. I'm super aware of how I look, my mouth, my eyes, and like I said, I got a lot of issues. The cancer didn't just like subside and went into remission and just left this indentation in my skull. It took my hearing. I have hearing issues. Like anything above a certain frequency, anything like certain voices, like you really have to get my attention because I am so like lost in my thought. Like it takes a lot. I'm not paying attention to people, first of all. But second of all, like if I'm not thinking about you, I really can't hear you. If you're not in my peripheral of what I'm imagining right now, like I can't even hear you. You know, and not my sense of smell. I don't have a sense of smell. I'm blind in my right eye, legally blind in my right eye. So the tumor has left those scars. The cancer has left those damages. And like I said, to me, since they don't hurt, I don't feel them all the time. Like being ugly doesn't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I don't even have to look at me. I don't know why I like to look at me so much. And that might be because I'm blind in one eye and I don't see depth perception that well, and I look fine to me because I'm gonna tell you another secret. See, this whole episode is me being vulnerable because I think this is the only way to reach those hiding under that rock of superficiality, hiding under those of materialism, hiding under shit to cover how they feel. And we all have to get up from under that shit to grow. We want to grow upward, not downward. You know, we want to grow. We want to be positive. And to be successful by any means, to me, means you have to be happy. I don't want you to think success is money, get that and be miserable and hateful and upset and hurt and alone and sad, you know, because that can happen. You can sure enough be a millionaire, sad, tired, broke, sick, alone. That's not success. If you had a $50,000 a year job and you're happy and you're great and your family's smiling and bills are paid and you got a reliable car and you go on trips every now and then that you can really ball out on and then everything is great, that's success. If you are happy, if that's success to you. And whoever's not happy has the right to change what that is. But I think if we don't come to terms with who we are, and if we're always afraid to be ourselves or look at ourselves for who we are or what we are, and own that shit, whatever it is, good or bad, and own that shit, we'll never be happy. We'll never be successful. We'll never be content. We'll always have that splinter. And I don't want folks to have that splinter, man, because I'm only saying that because, like, I've let it get the best of me. I've also didn't. And that's what I'm going to tell you. I was lucky enough to not know that I was ugly until I was 13. And I say that because it was a devastating day. Devastating day. When I realized that my face looked like this. I didn't always. Can you imagine looking like this, but not always knowing you look like this until you were 13? Can you imagine being 13 and finding a fucking pimple on your face? Let alone finding half your face gone. And like I said, it could have been the depth perception. I can't see out this eye. And it could have been so many factors. But I'm going to tell you the one thing that fucked all of that illusion up with me. When I thought I was just an everyday kid. And I'm going to tell you, even going back before that, I heard the word ugly a million times, even as a kid. But as a kid, I didn't think. I mean, a lot of people call a lot of people ugly. It's an insult. Because when anybody want to say it, it's an insult. Hey, ugly and all that, Like, other people said it to other people, so I didn't even look at myself like I was being singled out for being ugly. I never saw it like that. But when I was 13, it hit me like, oh, fuck, I'm ugly. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to label the word or label people who don't look normal. But like I said, we have this social norm, and we have a just a norm. If you got one leg, you gotta know that you got one leg. And own that shit. And that's all I'm saying is like, I had to own it this day. And the sad thing, when you got one leg, you knew from the day they took your leg that you had one leg. Me, didn't know. And I'm gonna tell you how I found out. I was in a bathroom in my aunt's bathroom, and she had a very nice house. It's a very nice house, and she had one of it had the front mirror, and then it had that side medicine cabinet door, and it had a mirror on it, and it was crazy because when that mirror was closed, and I looked at either the mirror or the crack, it always showed like my face in like the crack of it, So it never showed my complete face in like both of the mirrors at the crack. I can't explain it. But if I opened the motherfucking mirror, it would reflect this, and basically all the angles would reflect, and I would see every angle. Well, I would see a different angle of my face that I've never seen before, like from a different angle. I was able to look at myself from a different angle. And I didn't know what the fuck I saw. Bullshit you not. At 13 years old, playing with this fucking mirror, opening that shit and like, what? Is this what I've been running around with all these fucking years? Now, mind you, some schools I was the bully. Some schools I think up until this point, I was always confident in who I was. So I don't think I was ever bullied in school before this moment. I don't care what they said to me, what they picked on, I was a fighter too. I fought constantly, I was a very lash-outable kid, but yeah, it's just, I always had this level of confidence in me, like arrogance, you can say it was, obnoxiousness or whatever the fuck. But it was there, and it did me a level of satisfaction, as in I never was unconfident. I never felt anything wrong with me until this very day, opening that mirror and seeing that I looked like this. Like, what the fuck happened? And a whole lifetime of everything my parents and my mom said came to me, like when my eye was out to here, and just like remembering comments, and then like it all made sense why I was treated a certain way. I didn't realize I was treated different. No matter I was treated different, thought everybody was treated like, different. And I never realized that when people called me ugly, they meant it. It wasn't a joke, it was a descriptive term, and And it hurt. It all hurt. It was the most lonely feeling in the world because I didn't know what to do. I did not know who to talk to. I didn't know what to do. And I talked to one person. I've never spoke of this moment before now. I've never spoke of this discovery. I've never thought I've had to. I've been ashamed to talk about that. Like, even after discovering that, like, even like growing up, even after I come out with everything else that I do to be open and vulnerable, I never even think of the importance of how I thought of it or how I first saw it or identified, like, but it is, because that moment was a deciding factor and could have been a crossroad in anybody's life. I mean, there's some kids that would have taken their life. Can't say I didn't think about it. You know, like, what the fuck? But I'm going to tell you, there's one person I talked to, and I had to talk to somebody because it was immediate. I'm going to take a sip. Hold on. Mouth is getting dry. But there was one person I talked to, and it was my cousin's girlfriend. I had an older cousin that lived with us, my aunt's son, and he was in his early 20s, and he had a girlfriend that I loved to death. She was in her early 20s, too, and she was my road dog. We did everything. You know what I'm saying? Because she was my access to, she had a car so we can go places. She always had a little money so we can go eat and buy shit. And she kind of gave into a delinquent habits. You know what I'm saying? She get us liquor and shit, you know. And I'm like I said, 13, 14 years old. Not even 14 yet. I think I last seen her maybe when I was 13. Maybe 14 was my last time seeing her. But for those span of like me living with them, because I know them all my life up until, well, for a long time up until then. But her like living there with us and us being so close, I told her, like, Didi, what the fuck? You see me? Like, what the fuck? Like, my shit's bashed in. Like, what the fuck? At 13 years old, and I'm crying as I'm saying this. Now, mind you, I didn't take this calmly. You know, I had not near mature bone in my body. Every bone that I thought was mature just crumbled when I saw that shit, just crying. And she, that's what I'm saying. She was the only person that ever got the satisfaction, or I ain't gonna say satisfaction, but it could have been, the experience of this nigga didn't know he was ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now everybody gets that satisfaction. How y'all feel after listening to that is probably how she felt back then. Like, this motherfucker didn't know and I didn't see it. I did not see it. And I think this can be symbolic for a lot of people who just don't see their flaws, who just don't see them. Oblivious, and how being oblivious to a flaw can affect your behavior. And it didn't affect my behavior in a positive way all the way. It was positive that I was confident, but it also made me an asshole. It made me obnoxious. Why? Not because I wasn't ugly, because I thought wasn't shit wrong with me, because I couldn't see shit wrong with me. And I think some people walk around with that arrogance because they don't see shit wrong with them because it ain't something you can see with your eyes. But for me, my problem was right there on my fucking face and I couldn't hide it, and I was devastated. Devastated. It was like being diagnosed with cancer that day. And it was crazy, and it was fucking crazy to me, and I bawled to Didi, and I love her. She was so supportive. She's just, and I wish she could see. Geraldine, that was her real name. She old now, like you like 50, 50 something now. But anyway, Geraldine, I love you, Didi. I swear, man, because you were there when I went through, I think, every devastating moment after that just compares to that. You know, and I don't think about that every day. I don't think about that moment, but every time I'm devastated, like that's my first feeling of devastation that I couldn't fix, I couldn't change, I couldn't do nothing about it. Every other problem is like, oh, I can move, I can leave, I can beat him up, I can do anything. Like when it was my mother's boyfriend beating my ass and just hurting me. Like nigga would wake me up to kick my ass. I got to the point where I'd call the police. Like, okay, I don't have to do, cause you know, I don't know about all kids, but when I got my ass beat, I thought maybe somebody should do something. You know, like, hold on, like, okay, there's another grown-ass man hitting me. And, you know, my cousins, uncles, nobody came save the day. So it took a minute for me to call the police to realize wasn't nobody gonna come save me. And that my mama damn sure wasn't. And that's sad. That led to a resentment issue. Still has an issue. Still love my mother to pieces. And I say I forgive her because I do whatever I can for her, but I don't even really know what forgiveness is because it's not like I forgot it. And I don't know if I'm really forgiving, but I am because I love her to pieces. I'll do anything, but it still hurts me and it still fucks with me and I still get angry over it. So I don't know if that's real, if that's what forgiveness looks like because I think I'm forgiving her. But as angry as I get, I know there's still resentment. Maybe they can coexist. Can resentment and forgiveness coexist? I don't know. We're going to unpack it and figure it out because what I wanted to go through is like that, bring us back to the ugly truth. Me discovering that at 13 was a very ugly truth. The most like I said, there was zits that probably somebody somewhere took even worse than I did that day about my face looking like this. So I'm not here to compare, but I am here to relate. And not just relate to you, because I want y'all to relate to me. Because I know I do a lot of incredible shit that some people think is just easy. And I mean simple shit, like being married and or working or having clients, like just simple shit like that. Shit gets real different sometimes. And people don't always see that you're dealing with things while dealing with things. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. Meaning, like the challenges you see me handling and knocking out and solving and acting on are only half the challenges I'm going through. And I'm saying that to say to any of you that the challenges I see you going through are only half the challenges I know you're going through. Half, if not more, are up here. Like I said, there's so many people out there going through shit and you just can't see it on them. You can't see them with their disability on their face. They're not wearing a sign. They're not in a special chair. They're not using a crutch or a device or oxygen tank. You just can't see what's wrong with them. But it doesn't mean something's not there. And that might be you. Like I said, if you feel like everything's perfect, then I hope that you do. And not that I want anything devastating to be wrong with you. But I'm saying if something's wrong with life, there must be something devastating you're not dealing with. And I'm doing this all for therapy. Because me talking to somebody is the only way sometimes I move through it. But my problem is I don't talk to people. I'm just not, I get advice. I let people talk to me. I'm a great listener. You know, but talking ain't really my thing. You know, I mean, I got to probably hit the joint to talk. Just freely and carelessly, all fucking mindlessly and what they call it, small talk and shit. Yeah, I got to be high, to be honest with you. To be shooting the fucking breeze for no damn reason. Meaning not to say anything like special about me not wanting to fuck with people, but it's just my nature. It's not how I get down. So it's not It's not something that I'm able to do and practice when it is helpful to me. So when I'm going through things, I don't just run out and start talking to people. I have a few select folks, or there's some people in my network. I tell certain people in my network certain shit that I wouldn't tell nobody else, only because I think they have an expertise in it. I don't tell anybody anything that I think they can't do shit about. So I hold a lot of my problems to myself because I think so many people can't do shit about my shit. Or I'll do this, create an episode on it, speak on it, work it through, articulate it. I'm able to see it better. It's like when you put something out on your desk, when you dump out your backpack and put it all out, like you see everything that you have. I do this to see everything I'm working with while sharing it with you. And then together we can see what we're working with. So how can we help each other? You know what I'm saying? Because that's when the input that I'm willing to accept. When I put all of my stuff out there, and then I get feedback, I get calls, I get letters, I get messages, I get inbox, I get DMs saying, "Oh, I appreciate that, or I appreciate this, or I listen to that and this and that," and that's the feedback I use. What helped you? What you got out of it? That continues to help me. So it's like I help these people. They're telling me they've been helped, and that helps me. It's that confirmation, because I do this for a lot of confirmation. Like I said, I think I'm successful to a certain degree for a reason, and I know there's value in that. But everywhere I fall short, I leave room to grow, and that's where my audience comes in. That's where my mentors come in. That's where my clients come in. That's where the kids out there doing shit that I invest in come in. Like just seeing young people out there. I had a client the other day, just yesterday. I gave him his order, but he ordered $500 worth of shit, custom shit. I don't know about you, but that impresses me. When I see young people investing in their business, I never spent $500 of shit in high school on anything but maybe some weed to sell. I only bought work in high school. I only bought work for years after high school. If I wanted to make any money, I bought work. I didn't buy materials and start making shit. I didn't. I should have. I caught on. I eventually started doing that. And then I took advantage of being creative and all that, but that's not how it started. That wasn't where my mind was at. I wanted to sell products that were jumping off the fucking shelf, and weed and drugs did that. But had I known about t-shirts, had I known about apparel, had I known how to design my creativity or my images or my imagination onto something that people could wear, oh my God, I would have never played with any of that stuff. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that at some point, I had to see who I was. And though that broke me all the way the fuck down, what I built on top of that was a real solid foundation. Had I never saw that, then somebody could bring that moment to me at any point in my life. It just happened to be at 13 years old by myself. I went through that devastating moment. But somebody can let the air out your ass in your 40s, in your 30s, at any status in your life. You can be having the time of your life with all the money in the world, and somebody just let the air out your ass with a secret or with something you were ashamed of in your past. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to live like that. You have to go through that to build on top of that, because what you build on top of that can't crumble. Somebody can crumble your whole fucking empire. If you build your shit on a lie and somebody exposed the lie, everything you built can come down. The money you made, you might get sued, all kind of shit. When you face those truths early, everything you build on that is solid and real, and can't nobody bring that up to destroy you. It doesn't mean it won't hurt no more. It doesn't mean my feelings don't hurt. I still have to understand and figure out why people treat me certain ways. whether I show it or not. And I usually don't. You won't never think people have an effect on me the way I move. But you also never know what I'm thinking about and how I'm assessing people to assess me, or how I'm judging people that judge me. You don't think I get falsely judged by the way I look? Some people determine my value and just never heard me speak, never heard me say nothing. Like, oh, this motherfucker's ugly. Turn the channel. How many relationships? I love my wife, but how many relationships that I've been cheated out of that I could have been happy with had somebody loved me enough to please me? You know what I'm saying? And maybe they only love people they find attractive. Like, that's free love. Like, I think people that get love that are just how they look, like, oh my God, that's like free love. And then not even have to act a certain way. Oh my God. Like, I can be so much meaner if I looked so much better. And some people already think I'm mean as fuck. So that should tell you, I do love me. And the whole lesson in all this, I'm sorry it's been 45 minutes later. And I know there's a bunch of fucking lessons in there. So I know whoever tapped out earlier couldn't hang, then found something good and then had a chance to work with that. But the end of it, for me, like for this whole show, for this lesson, is you gotta love yourself. And if you look at it, that's like the acronym of ugly. You gotta love yourself. I don't care what I go through. I don't care who says they love me. I don't care what people say they want to do for me, how they want to. If I don't love myself, this can all come crashing down. Still to this day, as secure as I am, as well as I think I can move and fix things and solve problems, it's just like, if I don't love myself, this can all still come crashing down. If you don't love yourself, everything else can just come crashing down. You can destroy everything about you and everyone close to you if you don't love yourself. You have to love yourself. You gotta love yourself. So think of that the next time you think of being ugly. Ugly. You gotta love yourself. I'm gonna leave you with that because I don't want you to forget that shit. I love all of y'all. And I just wanted to share that moment or those bunch of moments with you just to let you know that I'm coming from a different place when I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be calm. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very passionate about this subject. And I wanted a lot of people to hear it. That's why I didn't want to riddle it with curse words or be all super animated, because I wanted kids to hear it. I wanted adults to hear it. I wanted old ladies and old men and people, anybody who thought there was something wrong with them, to be able to listen to this and not be offended, you know what I'm saying, or not be disgusted or disrespected. I want people to gain from this, because I do think the more people who gain from this, or the more people who just get the lesson, wherever they get it from, who just understand this perspective, or just that everybody's going through something, or that everybody has a problem, and that not all these problems can be seen, but we're all dealing with damn near the same level of shit. If everybody just realizes that, we might be a little more compassionate with each other. We might be a little more understanding with each other. We might learn to love each other and love what needs or what deserves to be loved about each other, instead of dismissing that. But yeah, that's all I want from all of y'all, man. And it's only going to help you create and live your definition of success faster, better, in a more efficient way. Because, like I said, these are mindsets. And that's all we talk about here for the most part. We talk about a lot of application, a lot of tactics, but it's a lot of mindset. Because if your mind ain't in the right place, it's hard to get anything else to work. It's hard to win at shit. It's hard to win that shit when your mind ain't in the right place. I know, because sometimes my mind ain't in the right place. And what brings me back is appreciation. I have to appreciate myself. I have to love myself. I have to realize and remember all the things that are right and good about me. Every piece of potential I have. Every piece of opportunity that I can still create. everybody that I can still have. I have to remember things that I don't have. Because if I don't have nothing, I have to look at the shit that I can still do, because that might be all we're left with. We might get left with absolutely nothing, but we still have to look at what we have. And what we have is potential, opportunity. And I still want everybody to understand what they are, their value, and never lose sight of that. And above all else, you got to love yourself. All right, I love y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. Remember, lifeofaboss.net. Hit us up. Follow me, like, share, subscribe, and please leave a review. All right, love y'all. Peace.
Did anything stand out to you in today's show? If so, let us know. Your questions, comments, and concerns are important to Jason, as he is determined to always deliver to you only the most impactful information and content. Until next time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave a review whenever possible. You may visit lifeofaboss.net for more episodes and great resources to help you become the absolute boss that you were meant to be. You can also follow Jason on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at HardwayHarden. Thank you. And never forget that success is a lifestyle.